Hi, welcome to Putting It Together. Now we're going to make sense on how to do the ERS or the environmental rating scales and how to read those results and then make an improvement plan to improve our classroom. Why is this so important? You have valid, reliable observations to create a plan of action. When you present something like this to your supervisor or directors, there will be a much willingness from them to help you implement these changes. Also, as a mentor, you can use it as a tool to help them improve. So, let me start by giving you a sample of an ERS of one of our students last semester. So, this is how we would fill up properly trying to make the ERS. She was able to get it in a PDF format that it was fillable. You do not have to do this if you cannot have one, but if you do, why not? I will show you another one. So first we have to fill up the top portions. Make sure which days were your observations done at what time, how many children were in each room. So make sure you annotate all of those. This is part of your grade, making sure that you fill up the whole environment. When she was scoring, she did always put an explanation of why the score. I am not watching your room, so I can't see what you're seeing. The only way I can see what you're seeing is by your annotation. So make sure that you always write the explanation for your scores. She was taking care of scoring, which we practiced before in module 2. When the first column, you want them all to be no's. If it's no's, then you can move forward. If there is a yes in the first column, then that wouldn't work. Then so all of them are no's, then you get yeses. Non-applicable, it's like it's non-existent, so you can keep on going. If the second column is all yeses, you can keep on going. If in the third column there is all yeses, you could keep on going. In this case, we had to stop because there is a no. So the score cannot be a 5. It's between a 4 or a 3, but it's less than half, so it's a 4. In the next case, she has all no's on the first column, all yeses in the second column, all yeses on the third column, and all yeses in the last column, which would give you a score of 7. And this is how you would go. I know we've been practicing scoring. As she fill up the whole form, she comes to the subscales. And the subscales where you add the scores, how many items you scored. So you would add 4 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 4, which gives you a score of 29. And there were 5 items. And then you divide them, which would give you an average score of 5.8. So for that section, space and furnishings, she got an average of 5.8. Then you would keep on filling up the scale appropriately, with your evidence. And again, once you get to another subscale, you would add those items. In this case, it would be starting from item number 6. It would be a 7 plus a 2 plus a 7 plus a 6 plus a 7 plus a 7, which gives you an addition of 36. There were 6 items scored, which gives you an average of 6. If you keep on going then to the next section, again, you would write your score, your explanation, so I can see clearly. And when it comes to a subscale, you would add those items. In this case, it's the 3 items, number 12, 13, and 14. You would add 7 plus 7 plus 7 adds to 21. Divided by 3 items gives you a score of 7. Then you keep on going to the next section. In this case, it would start from item 15 all the way till the subscale, which is 9 items. And once you add the results, it's 27. Here is a tricky one that I wanted to mention to you. So when you start in this section, she has a 4, a 7, she has a 7, a 4, a 7, a 7, 7. Here is an NA. So in this case, because they don't use TV or videos, you cannot add it as part. So in reality, there would be 10 items, but since there is an NA, one that doesn't come in the center, you don't have to add it. So it would be 9 items. So once you add all of the scores, not considering number item 23 because they don't use it, it's non-applicable, it adds up to 57, and there's only 9 items instead of 10. And then you get your score, your average score. You would continue to the next section. Once it gets, you add the scores, which would be 27. 4 item scores, which gives you an average of 6.75. Then you move to the next item. As soon as you get to the subscale for program structure, you would do exactly the same. Add the results. And here it happens again. So there is a 7, 7, 7. And then there is a non-applicable. So in reality, program structure has 4 items. Item 29, 30, 31, 32. But in this case, there is a non-applicable because at the time of observation, there was nobody with disability. So you cannot count it. So it becomes 3 instead of 4, and you add those 3 items. You do the next for the next section, which will be parents and staff. You add the results, see how many items, and then you do an average. And then you gather all of them at the very end. So you would go back to space and furniture, and the addition of all of them was 29 divided by 5 items. And then you get the full average score. As you're looking at this, you would try to see what are the areas that we need to improve. As you saw throughout many of the situations, there were a few items that were scored a 4. So in this EATers that was done, most of the scores are between a 7 and a 6, but there's a few that go below. So for Ashley's improvement plan, she would have to tackle all of the items that are below a 6. So I'm going to go all the way back to the top, and we're going to revise which ones are these. So in her plan, she should talk about indoor space. This is for your improvement plan. So your improvement plan, you're going to base it on the results. And in this case, it would be indoor space. So she's going to have to talk about indoor space. Display for children, item number 5. Item number 7, meals and snacks, which is a 2. So definitely that should be in that improvement plan. Here is a 6. You can do an improvement plan with it, but you don't have to, because 6 and 7 for her are the biggest scores. What we really want to tackle are the things that are very important to change, which would become a priority. So when you're doing your improvement plan, you want to look for that priority. Again, item 15 is a 4. So right now we have about 4 items that she should be working in her improvement plan. Item 19, blocks, which is a 4 too. And let's see. And all of these. Oh, and the last one probably will be item 39, which is a score of 4. So when you're looking at it, her improvement plan should embrace those 6 items that were the lowest. In her case, she has 1, 2, and the rest, the 5 other items, are a score of 4. So we definitely want to tackle that when we do an improvement plan. So right now we've had an overview of an EATers and how to look at the information so we can create a improvement plan. I'm gonna now close this one, and I'm gonna open another sample. This is an EATers that was done to me. Let me turn it around. And again, she filled up all of the information. She did her scores. She put in every site an observation. In this case, she didn't use a fillable PDF. She did it by hand, and she scanned it and sent me a scanner. You can do it through a scan or a picture or other formats that accommodate you. So as long as I can read it and see it, it's fine with me. So let me go. She was making sure that all of her subscales are taken into consideration. You see her subscales are filled up, so she puts evidence and she does her scoring. In this case, it's a 7, a no in the first column, yes, yes, yes. So there was no reason to stop. In this case, it's a no, yes, yes. So she has 7. Let's review number 30 for her scoring. We have a no, so you can keep on going. All of these are yes, so you can keep on going. But in this one, she has yeses and nos. So to decide the score, we know that we finished filling up this column. Once you've done this column, you have to see, can it be a score of a 5? No, because there is no's. So we have to decide between a 3 or a 4. And in this case, there is 4 items. 2 are yes and 2 are no. Since it's half or more, it would be a score of a 4. If it would have been 3 no's, then it would have been a score of a 3. Let's keep on going. As you can see, she built up all of the items in every single area and her subscale. Now, because it's an ERS, we have a few more things. One is the substantial portion of the day, which an ERS does not include. And let me switch here so you guys can see. And I love these. Ooh. Again, this is a full summary of the ERS, so you can see. So you can see which areas are low. It's very easy to see and browse from here which are going to be part of your improvement plan. In the infant toddlers, they don't have this scale, which makes it a little bit harder. You have to go one by one. In this case, you can do it all at once. So for example, you know for sure that in this case, since the center seems to be doing quite well, most of them are 6 and 7s, you're going to focus on anything that it's a 5 probably and low. And unless you feel like you want to do all of your 6 too, that's okay. But what we want to make sure is that we're tackling what it's the lowest. So in most improvement plans, there's going to be about, oh, well, it depends on your center. But I'm hoping that if there is a 1 and a 2, even if it's every single item, your improvement plan will work on it. The reason is because if it's a 1, it's a health and safety problem, and you cannot run a center with a 1. That means that there is something that must be taken care of at all times. So this one gives us a really good view that she should work on item 4. She should work on item 11. She should work on item 21st, on item 25th, on item 30 and 31st. So when I see her improvement plan, the first thing I'm going to look is if she tackled those ones. If she didn't, points are going to be discounted. And I'm going to create a new video showing you how to interpret the results and put them into an improvement plan. So wait for video number 2.